Imagine this. You wake up one morning full of energy. You tell yourself, this is it. Today's the day I change my life. You write down a list. Hit the gym every day, cut all junk food, read 2 books a week, meditate for an hour, build a business on the side. By lunchtime, your motivation is soaring. But by the end of the week, the list is buried under a pile of laundry. The goals feel impossible, and you're left with that heavy guilt of starting big and quitting just as fast. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Most people fail at change not because they don't care enough, but because they aim too high, too fast. But what if I told you, the real secret to success isn't in the giant leaps, it's in the smallest possible steps. This is the power of small wins, the power of getting just 1% better each day. The illusion of big change. We live in a world obsessed with overnight success stories. Lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, make 6 figures in 6 months, transform your life in 30 days. These headlines sell because they prey on our impatience. But here's the harsh truth. Real lasting change doesn't happen in explosive bursts. It happens in quiet, almost invisible improvements, stacked one on top of the other. Think about it. If you try to run 10 miles on your very first day of training, you'll burn out. But if you run just half a mile today and increase it by a tiny fraction each week, in a year, you'll be running marathons. That's the 1% rule. And once you understand it, you'll see how it transforms everything. The math behind 1%. Here's the simple math. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you won't just be 365% better. Compounding turns that into 37 times better. That's the difference between struggling to start and becoming unstoppable. And the beauty is, you barely notice the effort. It's not about huge sacrifices. It's about stacking small wins day after day until they explode into something remarkable. The story of Dave Brailsford. Let me give you a real story. In the early 2000s, British cycling was a joke. They hadn't won a single Tour de France. They were mocked by other teams. Even bicycle manufacturers refused to sell them gear, worried that their failures would tarnish the brand. Then came Dave Brailsford. He didn't promise a miracle, he promised 1% improvements. He and his team broke everything down. The aerodynamics of the bikes, the diet of the riders, even the pillows they slept on. Each change seemed tiny, almost laughable, but stacked together, within 5 years, British cyclists won 60% of the gold medals in the Olympics. And they went on to dominate the Tour de France year after year. Small wins, compounded. That's the secret. Why small wins work. So why does this principle work so well? Because success isn't just about skill, it's about momentum. Each small win builds confidence. Each micro step reduces resistance. And every time you stack a win, your brain says, I can do this. This creates a snowball effect, like pushing a heavy flywheel. At first, it barely moves, but with steady, tiny pushes, it starts to spin faster and faster, until suddenly, it's moving with unstoppable force. That's what small wins do for your life. The trap of perfection. Here's another reason why people fail. Perfectionism. They say, if I can't go all in, it's not worth it. But think about it. If you only floss your teeth once, it doesn't matter. But if you floss one tooth today, one tooth tomorrow, and keep going, eventually the habit sticks. And soon you're flossing without even thinking. The same is true with working out, saving money, learning a skill, or building a business. Perfection demands everything, but progress only asks for one thing: show up today. The story of Sarah. Let me share a simple example. Sarah was stuck. She wanted to write a book, but the thought of 300 pages overwhelmed her. Every time she sat down, she froze. Then she changed her approach. She told herself, just write 1 sentence a day. That's it. Sometimes the sentence grew into a paragraph, sometimes into a page. After a year, she had a finished manuscript, not because she aimed for a masterpiece every day, but because she focused on the small win of 1 sentence. That's the power of 1%. How you can apply this. So, how do you apply this in your own life? Step 1, pick an area of growth: fitness, finances, relationships, learning. Step 2, shrink your goal. Want to get fit? Don't start with a 2-hour workout. Start with 10 push-ups. Want to save money? Don't aim for $500 this month. Start with $5 a day. Want to read more? Don't commit to a book a week. Start with 1 page tonight. Step 3. Celebrate the small win. Smile. Check it off. Let your brain feel the reward. Step 4. Repeat. Tomorrow, add another 1%. Next week, another. It doesn't look like much in the moment, but look back in 6 months, and you won't recognize yourself. The power of momentum. Remember, success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Anyone can go hard for a week, but the ones who win are the ones who keep going when it's boring, when the gains are invisible, when it feels like nothing is happening. Because in those moments, the compound effect is quietly working. Every dollar saved, every page read, they're stacking, building momentum, preparing to unleash results that look like magic, when in reality, it was math all along. The transformation. Think of your life like a plane taking off. If the pilot changes the flight path by just 1 degree, it doesn't matter much in the first mile. But keep flying, and that tiny shift will land the plane in a completely different country. That's your life. Tiny changes today shape a completely different future tomorrow. Your challenge. So here's my challenge for you. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't aim for the massive leap. Pick one thing you want to improve by 1% today. Maybe it's 1 push-up, 1 page, $1 saved, 1 kind word to someone you love. Stack that small win, and then do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. Because when you look back 1 year from now, you won't just be better, you'll be unrecognizable. The power of small wins isn't flashy. It won't make headlines, but it will change your life. Because success isn't built in giant leaps, it's built in tiny steps, invisible victories, daily choices. And when you master the art of getting just 1% better each day, you unlock the most unstoppable force in the world: compounded growth. So, start small, win today, and watch how those little wins transform everything.